It's been almost over a decade since GTA 5 came out and is still doing pretty well to this day. However, with the development of GTA 6 is going further along, a lot of leaks and rumors and speculation has been running around. With the most recent report is that Rockstar is aiming to release Grand Theft Auto 6 for holiday 2024. However, in order to meet that deadline, they are going to have to cut major parts of the game and launch them later as a part of a DLC. Now, this could be very good and very bad for several different reasons, and I'll talk about that later in this video, but I want to talk about the article on Dexerto regarding to this new news. So I'll go ahead and put a link in description by Brad Norton if you want to read it for yourself. It says, Insider claims GTA 6 may cut portions of the game and hold it for future DLCs. It's been a full decade since the last GTA title hit store shelves. Since then, the video game industry has obviously changed a great deal as microtransaction models have become a commonplace, in large part due to Rockstar's unprecedented success with GTA Online. As one of the best-selling video games of all time, a product that still moves millions of units each quarter, Rockstar hasn't been in a huge rush to release a new mainline entry to the series. As we know, GTA 6 is in active development, and we've seen a good amount of it through last year's historic leaks. The game seemingly still has long ways to go. With no clear release date in sight, we could be looking at another few years of development. However, new claims from a prominent insider, Tez2, hinted a 2024 is now the current focus, with developers potentially even cutting portions of the game in order to hit the release window. Various reports over the years have pointed toward a different release window for GTA 6. However, Tez2 most recent claims highlights holiday 2024 as the current frontrunner. Unfortunately, it could slip into early 2025 as well, which could be a spring release. That's another hot time when video games get launched. One key factor potentially impacting Rockstar's plan is the divisive return to the office policy many game developers have been coming under fire of late. With the GTA creator supposedly falling in line, it could result in a loss of work talent, the insider warned. Thus, we could see more delays coming. Though, Tez claimed upper management might not be in the position to delay the game by multiple years. As a result, the alternative could be to trim down the current plans, slim launch the offering of GTA 6, and simply package the cut content in DLC bundles down the line they suggested. Keep in mind to take all this information with a grain of salt since these are rumors and speculations until Rockstar announce these type of plans themselves. Now, my comment and opinion on this. So I want to talk about the positive before I talk about the negative if this were to be the case. The positive is, what if they cut the non-essential part of the game where the core game is pretty good, and then you get the new content that was missing added later, but there's actually a timeline when you're adding to it, and it's not far down the line where you have to wait several months or several years, where it's actually, hey, couple weeks you get this, couple weeks you get this, couple weeks you get that. So it feels like there's something always new being added to the game. Now, this is a little bit different situation than what I'm going to compare to, but the best way I thought about adding DLC after a good game has launched is what CD Projekt Red did with The Witcher 3. They added 18 free DLCs every single week after that game came out, and it was good added content. Now, this probably won't be the same with Rockstar since they're cutting main portions of the game, where Witcher was more like, hey, we're just going to give you some bonus thing that was never cut from the game. So that's the good side of it, if there's actually a timeline and they execute on that timeline. Now, I want to talk about the negatives about this. This, in my opinion, does not look like a good look for Rockstar. From my recollection, Rockstar generally release games that are pretty well polished or fully planned out with some bugs to it, but overall the whole story, the gameplay is usually fantastic. Usually it sells very well. It hits millions and millions of sales and becomes one of the best-selling games of all time. You saw that with all the previous GTAs, especially remembering GTA 4 where it did so well, the voice actor actually had a huge issue with the studios making all that money compared to what they paid him, but that's besides the point. I feel if they release GTA 6 in a barely functional state or missing a lot of content that GTA fans that loves, similar online modes or part of the story that doesn't feel fully fleshed out or developed, then this is going to be a very bad franchise hurting image for Rockstar and could hurt the brand. Now, it won't destroy the brand since GTA is one of the most beloved franchises of all video game histories. But the idea of a game coming out not that great, but then gets better over time is something that we see in the game industries all the time. We see many games launch in a barely functional state or feels like it's missing a lot, but gets better several years later. And you feel like you're robbed of the full experience paying that full $70 depending on what platform you play on. And then you have to wait years before you get the full finished product. Now, what my concern is, microtransactions are crazy. And can you imagine what if Rockstar or 2K would be like, you know what? Instead of giving free DLCs that's actually part of the main game that was the original plan, how about we sell this as a season pass or pay to get this DLC content that fleshes out more of the game. Now that would be the worst, most outrageous thing you could ever do to a consumer, but I wouldn't put it past any video game company since, they try to monetize everything. And the thing is, Rockstar doesn't put out mini games. They take several years. They're one of those studios that can take 5 to 10 years to develop. If you look at the GTA franchise, they don't release things often. So they usually have that plenty of time to make their games great. And that's why they sell so well. That's why GTA 5 is doing so well even a decade later. So to hurt your brand image like that, it's not a good look at all. I mean, think about Rockstar's next game they launch. Would consumers be like, oh yeah, it's Rockstar, you're fine, go ahead and buy it? Or they'll be like, oh, let's wait for reviews, let's see some gameplay before I put money on it. Rockstar is one of those rare studios where you usually have faith in what they do, what they decide, and what they launch. Even some games are in buggy state, but the overall quality of the game is fantastic. You're talking about Red Dead Redemption, Max Payne, all those are great. Now, I don't fully blame Rockstar if this is the case. They do launch in 2024 and they have to package missing content as DLCs for a later date. There's many factors of blame to go around. For example, 2K is a publicly traded company. That means investors put money into that stock and they expect to get some return on their investments. The CEO has to appease investors and they have to appease their company and studio at the same time, and they have a board to answer to or they could get fired. So they are under a lot of pressures to deliver product. And the thing is, when you have a company like Rockstar who doesn't put out games like every 5 to 10 years, you're pouring millions and millions of money to a game developer who doesn't release a product, and you're not seeing any return investment. So you're under the gun to finally get some return on that investment. Granted that GTA 5 is still doing so well, they're still getting great returns on it, but it's not the same amount of returns of a new release of a franchise and the new gaming customers to get from it and the new revenue you can get from it. On top of that, you have a lot of delays in video games due to natural delays. Games get delayed all the time, but this new thing from work from home. I mean, since the pandemic has happened, a lot of game developers have to reshift the way they work from that home state model where they work at home and then they put it on the cloud and they work on the game from home. Now, for the last 2-3 years, it's 3 years now, they've been adjusting their new work-life schedule at home. Some developers even moved to different states just to be able to work from home so they have more room with kids in the house if they have to support their family that way, being locked from home. And they adjusted their whole life to this. And some of them may not even be in the same state, so they would have to relocate back near the office if they have to work in the office. Now, the thing is, no matter what people tell me, if you work from home, you're still not as productive as being in the office. That's my personal opinion. I mean, you have family, let's say you have to take care of the kids, you have to do chores around the house. Now that you're at home, you're more distracted. You can kind of get up from your desk and get food or go out for little walks. When you're at the office, you see everyone there, you're working at the desk, and you're fully engaged to the work office environment. And things tend to go faster because you are developing a game where you're putting these system files that's more easily transferred within the same company versus from your home, depending on your internet, if it's down or not, and transferring those files. And you're not easy to communicate with a coworker face to face regarding work on the game. So that definitely delays games you see all over the video game industry. And I definitely see both sides of this. But however, it costs a lot of money if games get delayed. And this is why you see mass layoffs happening, because the inefficiency of the game industry. So it's a double-edged sword no matter where you look at it. At the end, I think the people who hurt the most is the consumers. They're paying for these inefficiencies. So that's what I have to report. Let me know what you guys think. I'll put a link below. Check out my new channels that I launched in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time.